Here we are today with Antonica.
Antonica, yeah.
And this is a bit of a different, actually, one because you're
Spoken word artist.
spoken word artist, not a singing artist, but a spoken word artist.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of your background.
My background, well, I'm from London, from South London. I've been writing for a really long time, maybe since I was 14, 25 now, so it's been a couple of years. But yeah, I've never performed anything live, so this will be my very first time.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I've written loads.
How was your journey from London to Hull?
It was an alright journey, you know. It wasn't bad at all. It was pretty quick. It just sort of comes to you. Well, at least for me, it just sort of comes to me. Not really bound by like the regular rules, you know, stanza A needs to rise with stanza whatever. It's more like a free write, more like prose. But my kind of poetry, it's more like spoken word, so it's free prose, so there's not really a rule to it. There is rhyme to it, a couple rhymes to it, because, you know, that's
So why is it something that you actually wanted to put yourself into, like spoken words?
It's just my expression. It's how I best express myself. So in the moment, it's a little bit hard to just, you know, find the words to say. But for some reason, when I put a pen to a paper, it just comes so easily. It's just, that's my expression.
So what's your long-term goal with this poetry? How are you trying to take it as a long-term goal?
Take it? Well, I'm trying to spread it to as many people as possible. So this is the first step to do that. Like I said, I've written lots of pieces, so I'm hoping to put that all together into a book, probably publish that, you know, big dreams, and then hopefully put something out on Spotify, almost like a spoken word album.
You know what? I'm actually interested in poetry, so I want to see if you got something for us right now, on spot.
On the spot.
On the spot. I want to see if you got something for us now.
All right, I'll share. I'll give you a little sneak peek of what I'm going to do tonight.
Let's
if
go.
That's all
Whenever
right
you're
with
ready.
you. All right, cool. So it goes. I am a woman of Africa, bird from a nation defended to death by a queen. I am a woman of Africa, bird from a nation that is lost to defend her needs. I am a woman of Africa, bird from a nation that is sustained by the persistence of women. I am a woman of Africa, bird from a nation that treats women as the property of men. I am a woman of Africa, birthed of a nation that values pride over justice. I am a woman of Africa, birthed of a nation that awaits to see her value more than what her body can offer, more than the comfort of her silk skin, more than the pleasure that's held between her yes and her no. I am a woman of Africa who should have a right to say no, birthed of a nation where women are stripped of their dignity, violated of their innocence, suffocated to silence, cowered in the presence of a masculine beast. From when the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, her truth is stomped by lies that lies in the mouths of pride-filled bellies that lack sympathetic juices to digest her pain and only seek their own selfish gain and swear their version is truth. I am a woman of Africa. The brightness in her eyes and the thickness of her thighs are not invitations for your patriotic highs. There you go. So this was sort of written during lockdown, sort of, where there was a lot of protests going on. I don't know if you lot saw all the hashtags. There was SARS, there was South Africa was crying out because of the rape crimes that were going on. Angola had their own protests, and that's where I'm from. And so all of that sort of Africa crying out and just being a woman and then seeing how women are treated, I don't know, it sort of came to me. And it's not just the disproportion in the power dynamic between men and women, African men and women. It's not just the sexual coercion, it seeps in much deeper than that. It goes into how children are raised, so the difference in curfew, difference in clothing, in what sort of career choices you can make. So it's sort of an alert that there is this gender difference that needs to be sort of gotten rid of, broken. Yeah, so it's to say, like, yes, I am a woman of Africa. Yes, there is that power dynamic that needs to be destroyed, but I'm still a woman and I still have my rights. I'm not here to be objectified by a man.
One thing I want to ask you is that where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? What do you see yourself doing with this poetry?
Oh, with poetry? Oh, well, with poetry in particular, I just hope to, even if it's not as widespread as I hope it would be, I just hope to inspire people. if it's not inspire people to do poetry, it's to inspire people to do what they love to do. That's
And that actually led on to the next question, which was that how are you going to impact or bring a change to your listeners' lives when they listen to this?
That's it. So I talk about real stuff that I go through. You know, I bring my vulnerability to paper. And so people relate to your experiences. And that's all I can hope for. So that's what I hope to do. So talking about my experiences and people relating to that.
What's the first thing you'll buy with your first million?
First million?
First million.
I'd buy a house. That's what I'd do. It sounds kind of boring, but yeah, that's what I do.
It's an investment though, isn't it?
It's an investment, exactly.
An investment.
It's generational wealth. I'd buy a house in all of the places that connect to me.
That's it. And maybe try and find yourself a place where it's like an ocean.
Oh, absolutely. Ocean view, maybe a mountain view. There you go. You get my vibe. Exactly.
That's how it is. That's the best way to write. Somewhere peaceful.
Yeah.
And so obviously with poetry, like someone must have influenced you to do it. Like it could have been another spoken word artist. Like who was it that sort of inspired you to get into this lane and you really looked at it and said, no, I want to be like this or even better than this person?
Quite a few people actually. It started off as an American thing. I don't think at that time when I started off I knew quite a lot of British spoken word artists or British poets. So it was like people from Button Poetry. I don't know if you know that. It's a channel on YouTube. And someone like Joshua Bennett, people like Joseph Solomon, Jackie Hill Perry. So those kind of people sort of inspired me. And then bringing it overseas down here is like Nego True and George the Poet. And yeah. But it's strange. It's not strange because it's God's truth. Because like even in your darkest moments, there's always that whisper that you're sort of his. And like I could be sort of like, yeah, okay, so going my one way, I'm gonna try my own thing. But there's always this whisper. And it's all about, are you willing to answer that whisper? That's what it is. Because you always make time for the things you love.
And if you love God, you make time.
And if you love God, you make time.
Thank you guys for listening, and just give yourself a little shout out before we leave.
Myself a shout out.
Give yourself a shout out.
Antonica The Poet. What's my name on social media? ANTXNICA. So you spell it with an O, but on social medias with an X.
Well, thank you guys for listening. I will catch you soon in the next one. You take care.